Hello everyone, and happy Mother's Day. Thank you. So obviously today is Mother's Day, and it is, I think, halfway the one day a year that mothers do get theoretically off. Doesn't quite always work like that, but yeah, this is the day that women should be and are honored. Comes in very different ways. And mother doesn't just mean you physically having given birth to a child. This is obviously the dictionary expression thereof. But also, and yes, that includes for children in every way and form. And shame, see out. So this is, but it goes beyond, as I said, giving birth, because when we look at this day, and there is never enough time to honor any mother, by all means, and having a mother, being a mother, it's not always the most joyous experience. I mean, let's face it, everybody that is pregnant or has been pregnant is looking forward to this child, but the birth process itself is a painful one, let's face it. It's, I think, the equivalent of 12 bones being crushed at the same time or something like that. There's some scientific study. That's why I always said if guys would have kids, we wouldn't be overpopulated. So, no offense, but it's a different kind of pain threshold. So, for that, thanks for selflessly helping us to actually birth us, to bring us here, which is a bit of everything. I mean, you are the perfect vessel for new life. And that is something incredibly special. Also, being a mother, becoming a mother, or being a child, because it all goes hand in hand, often brings a feeling of sadness on this day as well, because we've lost people, loved ones, mother figures, mothers, kids. So it can bring sadness, feeling of loss. It sheds layers of pain, and all of that is part of being a mom. So it has the highest highs and the lowest lows, and it's all within one human being, which hardly ever realizes she's a human being, because it has to have all the supernatural powers, as she just mentioned, like 3 pairs of eyes, 6 pairs of hands, and everything else going, obviously run on little to no sleep, lots of coffee, the occasional wine. And so it is an incredible thing, and 99% of mothers, women, caregivers, don't give themselves the credit for it whatsoever. So from a spiritual point of view, Mother's Day is also an opportunity to celebrate and consciously reconnect with the energies of the divine and sacred feminine that's in all of us, irrespective if we are physically a mom, physically a wife, physically a daughter, whatever. Well, we kind of have to be a daughter, otherwise it wouldn't be here. So, but this goes way beyond the physical. It is the universal, spiritual, divine energy that goes beyond, which is the creating energy. So it's our oneness with all there is. There is no separation. And I think very often what happens, mothers and nurturing people, beings, as I said, it doesn't exclude animals at all, are giving everything and anything to such an extent to the entire world, but not to themselves. And this is something where we need to create a little bit more balance in all of that. But it is also a day where we connect and with honor and celebrate divine in all of us women and in all of us, which is very often not as much recognized. A mother is who takes on the role. And I know so many people, including myself, I haven't got biological children, but I've been incredibly blessed. I call it a stretch mark free blessing. And she's the most amazing child, and I'm nothing else but her mom, and she's nothing else but my daughter. But it is a matter of who embraces it and who is there and who wants to be there. Even when the going gets tough, we're still there. Even if we agree or disagree, we're still there. We can see it's heading for the wall, but we're still there. And this is exactly what that is. So let's not forget the fathers in this as well, because there are as much, or the males in general, because they're as much part of the feminine energy than we are, because ultimately the feminine energy and sacred femininity is nothing else. It's like very fancy words for unconditional love. That's all it is. Not more, not less. So then the divine feminine is a bit misleading in the word itself because it simply means unconditional love. And that has been given in many, many ways by many, many people who hold very different roles in people's lives. So this does not exclude the man at all. How many men do you know that stepped up as the father figures? They didn't have to. They didn't even biologically, they're not even connected to this child, but they're there. And this is then the same. It's unconditional love. So it's the divine feminine energy. So, and let's face it, every man starts off as a woman until the chromosomes then change. So it is all birthed out of the same energy. It is all the feminine unconditional love. So the feminine energy, the unconditional love is also Mother Earth. It's called Mother Earth for a reason. You cannot even be here without her. It's impossible. But if you see how we treat her, and at the moment she's screaming blue murder because we are not incorporating or honoring her enough. So this is all the things as well happening, like with if we look at the pollution going on, and alone recently now with all the plastic all over all the beaches, in the oceans in general. But I think it came right to our doorstep, as in the world saying, listen, pay attention, it's right here. It's like, oh yeah, there's plastic in the ocean, and now we can't get onto our beach, and there it is. This is Mother Earth screaming. It's Mother Earth screaming. And all the water-related stuff happening recently, water is related to emotion, to exactly that. This is what the ultimate feminine is about. It's about the emotion. It's about being aware, being there, paying attention what's right in front of you. It's all water-related stuff recently. From no water to dams bursting to the ocean being affected the way that's all water-related, very recent. And this is saying, the world, the universe saying, pay attention to your emotional balance, pay attention to what feeds into it, pay attention to yourself as well. It's so incredibly interconnected. The one can't exist without the other. You can have the most perfect life. If there's no more water and the earth is giving up on you, it really doesn't matter what you do on it. It's going to be extremely limited. And it's the same like if you don't look after the resource, nothing else will work. Now coming back to the mother kind of thing, who is the resource? You. Are you looking after you? Sometimes. But I always get it like when I'm with my clients, if I say like, what's your child's favorite food? What makes them happy? That, and that. What is husband's favorite thing? That, and that. What do your neighbors like? That, and that. The cat and dog? That, and that. What do you love? I love the people around me to be happy. That's not what I asked. But can you see how we do that? And other people around us, and they are important. But who is the source of it? And I'm not saying it in an arrogant kind of way, but you feed all of that. Yet you're not looking after the source being refilled accordingly. Are we honoring ourselves as much as we honor others? Unconditional love, the sacred feminine, is a wonderful thing, but it needs to be applied to everyone, including us. Including us. How often do you see mothers, you can see they haven't slept in weeks, they're running out of coffee, and then it gets dangerous. The kids are all over, and obviously because she is kind of like holding on to a thread, and then she's like refilling by 5%, and instantly she pumps out 10. Guess what's happening? Then they get sick. Then there is this and that. And we've never had as much irritable bowel syndrome, migraine, sleeping problems than we have nowadays. All this is the body screaming, another vessel, your vessel, saying, excuse me, would you mind looking after me as well? No, you can wait. They are more important. And when I say to people, not just mothers, but obviously also mothers, you've got to take some time out. I haven't got time for that. I've got such a busy schedule. Well, who's got time for you to collapsing? Who's got time for you not being in the picture? Who's going to be affected then? So if you don't want to do it for you, do it for others, but take time out. But I don't have the time. No, you're not your priority. That's the right statement. What is a priority in our life we have time for. If anything changes and you have to bring up more time for your child, for your partner, for whatever it is, you will find that time. because it's important. But when I say, please take time out half an hour a day for you, oh God, I haven't got time for that. It's not I haven't got time. That means I'm not important enough to myself. That's what we're really saying. And that's got to change. We've got to feed the source that we can feed the world. We've got to feed the earth that it can feed us. It's the exact same principle. We ourselves, as an individual, have to feed divine, not just outside of ourselves, but inside us. So we're kind of excluding that. It's like the divine and the wonderful stuff is all there. I'm just there I'm the trooper who has to feed it. Next, when did you become the exception to the rule? And this is a decision we make. This is kind of like we've got to honor ourselves as much, at least as much, as we honor everyone around us. We are the source in any way or form. And if some people agree or disagree with you, really plays no role whatsoever. Alone the fact that you are here means you're interconnected with the universe. It means that you're part of the divine. You are part of the source. If you recognize it or not, you are. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. It's that simple. We're only here because we're all interconnected. We are made of the same stuff. Dressed up in different ways, but the exact same stuff. So how do we see it in people around us? Sometimes we're even nicer to people we don't like than to ourselves. We are. Even people we don't like, sometimes we go like, oh, you look fabulous. And inside I go like, oh God, I wish I wouldn't have bumped into that person. Let's face it, we're human. Let's face it. Spiritual or not, we're human. Let's be honest, you know. And then in the morning we get up, we look in the mirror and go like, oh my word, too short, too tall, too fat, too thin, too many wrinkles, not this and that. This is how we talk to ourselves. But we're nicer to people that we don't like. What is wrong with that? But we all do it. We all do it. How often do you hear like, oh, you look fabulous, to turn around and kind of like, did you see that dress? But it's like, but originally we still be nicer to that person. We give ourselves the horrible speeches before we get to the dressing part. And this is like, as much as this is one day in the year that we should actually link into the divine feminine, how is that? Divine feminine. As we've got to do it every single day. We can't love others if we can't love ourselves. And this is harder because this is us. When we look at ourselves and we are incredibly harsh with ourselves. We honor everybody more than ourselves. No wonder we run short. No wonder we get tired, exhausted, anxiety, depression. All of that means you're not loving yourself enough. You're not acknowledging yourself enough. And we have this whole thing of we need to prove something to be worthy enough. If I've done that, and that, then I will. That's nonsense. We don't have to prove anything. We already qualified, otherwise we wouldn't be here. It's that simple. You're here, you qualified somehow. The universe thought it's a damn good idea to have you here, unless you want to argue with the universe for the rest of your life. Why do we spend the rest of our lives trying to prove something to somebody that we don't even know half the time to give approval that we're worthy enough? How back to front is that? The universe decided. I go with that. They'll pull rank anytime. But yet we kind of like, oh no, I'm not this enough, I'm not that enough, I'm not this enough. We already have the stamp of approval from the highest force. But we worry about those, and half the time we don't even know the people. But unless they agree, unless they tell me it's okay what I do, or that I'm good enough, or that I'm successful enough, or that I'm pretty enough, that I'm tall enough, that I'm short enough, whatever enough I'm supposed to be, then I adjust how much I honor myself. Our power is within. We must stop giving it away. We've got to invest in ourselves, not just the world around us. And as much as we do it from the bottom of our hearts when we love other people, we need to do it authentically. So on Mother's Day, don't just love the people around you and the mothers and the kids also, but not exclusively. Invest in yourself. Get up in the morning and at least find one or two things that you think you're darn good at. And the way we talk to ourselves is a habit. And our brain can be a real bugger. Because when it comes to others, it switches to nice. When it comes to us, it switches into the other mode. And this is something we need to retrain. And the brain, luckily, is easily to be trained. As long as we do something often enough, it takes it on as reality. So you every morning telling yourself, darn, good morning, beautiful. How nice of you to grace the world today. And whatever it is, set the tone. I mean, nobody hears you. You might just as well do it. Do it loud, do it quiet, do it in the car, it doesn't matter. But start investing in your own unique, beautiful source that you are. Start recognizing yourself. We recognize others. We are made of the same stuff, just in different packages. The content is the same. So what you see in others, try see it in you. If you can't, sit down and make a list. Sit down and make a list. And if that still doesn't work, ask others, because they will see things in you that you haven't even considered. And no, they're not all going to be bad at all. Because this is the same thing that when people tell you, oh, you look lovely today, you go like, yeah, no, don't worry, it's an old top. What's wrong with saying thank you? And acknowledging that and actually agreeing. Because I try to look nice, and if somebody recognizes that, that's great. Why do I talk it down? Why do we do that? We compliment others and play it down when it comes our ways. Why can't we take simple, normal compliments, which are very bottom? Nobody's getting paid to give you compliments. 99% of the times they're not getting paid. So why would they just come up with it? Why don't just take it? Why do we reject what feeds us? Because we feel we're not worthy of it. That's why we play down. Or because we don't feel like it does not mean it's not true. If somebody says to me like, oh, Heike, you look absolutely fabulous today, and I really feel like I'm having a shitty day, and I haven't slept properly, and I look like this, and I look like that, and I plaster on an extra layer of makeup because that I look awake, and somebody says, Heike, you look lovely. Inside my voice goes, yeah, right. Outside my voice goes like, thank you. But that's who we are. Only because I don't feel it at the moment does not mean it's not fact to someone else. Take it. Take it. So this is about, I don't want to over-talk here because I can talk for yonks. So honor the mothers in your life. Honor the caregivers, the nurturers in your life. But don't forget that 90% of that, it's exactly you. And that includes the guys. I know lots of guys which are single dads who do the father of single mother dads, both in one. You give a lot of attention to the women, but there's so many fathers nowadays who do the exact same thing. And that includes them as well. And it's the grannies that are there as moms. It's the aunts that are there as moms. It's sometimes complete strangers that step in as a... And all of them, it's the exact same thing. As I said, the content is the same. They come dressed up in very, very different ways. And embrace them, but see it in you as well. It's the exact same energy. So today, when you honor your mom, whoever is that person in your life, don't forget to honor you, because the divine energy is nothing but unconditional love. And we are all the same stuff. And I always say we need to get a bit more cocky with us. We are all absolutely fabulously, magically part of the universe. We've got to stop playing that down. You can't love too much. You can't be too much. So stop playing it down. And the next time somebody pays you a compliment, take it. Even at the moment you don't feel like it, take it. Don't water it down. Don't thin it down. Take it. Because somebody recognizing in you what you fail to see at that very moment is the first step into it. So love and light always. Thank you.